The janitor's cart rattled through the empty hallways of Morrison. Technologies. But Maria's hands wouldn't stop trembling. She'd been cleaning these floors for 6 months, invisible to everyone except the security guards who nodded as she arrived each night at 9 p.m. Tonight was different. Tonight, her 8-year-old daughter, Emma, sat in the corner of the CEO's office, supposedly doing homework while Maria scrubbed and polished. What Maria didn't know was that Emma had left something behind, a letter that would change both their lives forever. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead as Maria pushed her cart past rows of silent cubicles. Her back ached from her day shift at the diner, and her feet throbbed in the second-hand shoes she'd bought last month. But she couldn't afford to slow down, not when the rent was due in 5 days and Emma needed new glasses. The prescription had changed again, and her daughter had been squinting at her schoolwork, getting headaches that broke Maria's heart. "Mama, can I come with you tonight?" Emma had asked earlier that evening, her dark eyes wide with concern. "I don't want to stay with Mrs. Patterson. She falls asleep and her TV is too loud." Maria had hesitated. Bringing Emma to work violated at least 3 company policies. But their elderly neighbor had been unreliable lately, and Maria had no one else. So she'd made Emma promise to stay quiet, stay hidden, and absolutely not touch anything. The CEO's office was always Maria's last stop. James Morrison rarely worked late, and by 11 p.m., the entire executive floor was guaranteed to be empty. She'd peek through the glass walls first, just to be certain before unlocking the heavy oak door. Tonight, Emma sat on the floor near the window, her worn backpack beside her, carefully completing her math worksheet by the light of the city skyline. Maria worked quickly, dusting the massive mahogany desk, emptying the pristine wastebasket that never held more than a few papers, wiping down the leather chairs that cost more than she made in 3 months. "Mama," Emma whispered, "does the man who works here know how lucky he is?" Maria paused, spray bottle in hand. "What do you mean, mija? He has this big office and that nice desk. And look," Emma pointed to a framed photo of James Morrison with his 2 teenage sons at a ski resort. "He gets to go on vacations. Does he know some people don't have enough?" The question lodged in Maria's chest like a stone. "I'm sure he works very hard, sweetheart." "So do you, Mama. You work 2 jobs and you never get to ski." Maria turned away, fighting tears. She'd tried so hard to shield Emma from their struggles. But 8-year-olds were perceptive. They noticed when dinner was rice and beans for the 5th night in a row. They understood what it meant when Mom said no to the school field trip. "We're going to be okay," Maria said softly, the lie tasting bitter on her tongue. "We always figure it out." What she didn't see was Emma pulling out a piece of paper from her backpack after Maria moved to clean the attached bathroom. The little girl climbed onto the enormous leather chair, her feet dangling far above the ground, and carefully placed her letter in the center of the spotless desk. James Morrison arrived at his office at 6 a.m. the next morning, as he did every Tuesday. He'd built Morrison Technologies from nothing 20 years ago, and the early morning hours were his sanctuary, time to think, before the chaos of meetings and decisions consumed his day. He set down his coffee, loosened his tie, and noticed immediately that something was different. A piece of lined paper, the kind from an elementary school notebook, sat in the exact center of his desk. The handwriting was careful, each letter formed with obvious concentration. "Dear CEO, sir," it began. "My name is Emma and I am 8 years old. My mama cleans your office at night. She doesn't know I'm writing this letter and she would be very upset if she knew. But I wanted to tell you something important. My mama is the best person in the whole world. She works at a restaurant during the day and then she cleans offices at night. She never complains even though I know she is tired. Sometimes I hear her crying in the bathroom when she thinks I'm asleep. She cries because we don't have enough money for things. I need new glasses because I can't see the board at school very good anymore. But glasses cost $200 and Mama doesn't have it. She says we'll figure it out, but I know that means we won't get them. I'm not asking you to give us money. Mama says we don't take charity, but I thought maybe if you knew how hard my mama works, maybe you could give her a raise. She makes your office so clean. She even organizes your pens the way you like them. I noticed you always put the blue ones on the left. If you can't give her a raise, that's okay. I just wanted someone to know that my mama is a hero, even if she doesn't have a big office or go skiing. Thank you for reading this. Emma, age 8. James read the letter 3 times, each reading hitting harder than the last. His hands shook by the third pass. He walked to his window and stared out at the city, seeing nothing. He'd built an empire. But when was the last time he'd noticed the people who kept it running? When had he last thought about the woman who cleaned his office, really? Thought about her as a person with a life, with struggles, with a daughter who needed glasses? His own sons had everything. New phones each year, ski trips, college funds that could send them anywhere in the world. And somewhere in this building, a woman worked 2 jobs and still couldn't afford a $200 pair of glasses for her child. James picked up his phone and called HR. I need the employment file for the night janitor who handles the executive floor. Immediately. 30 minutes later, he had his answer. Maria Santos, single mother. No benefits because she was technically part-time, contracted through an agency. Minimum wage. No sick days. No vacation. She'd never missed a shift in 6 months. That night, James Morrison did something he'd never done in 20 years. He stayed late, working in a conference room with a view of his office door. At 11:15 p.m., he watched through the glass walls as a small woman with tired eyes unlocked his office, a young girl trailing behind her. He waited until they'd been inside for 10 minutes, then he walked down the hallway. Maria's scream when the door opened probably echoed through 3 floors. Emma jumped, dropping the pencil she'd been using. They both stared at James Morrison like they'd seen a ghost. I'm so sorry, Maria gasped, stepping in front of Emma protectively. I know I'm not supposed to bring her. But I had no choice. I swear it won't happen again. Please don't fire me. I need this job. Mrs. Santos, James said quietly, I'm not here to fire you. I'm here because I found a letter. Maria's eyes went to the desk, then to Emma, then back to James. Horror flooded her face. Emma, what did you do? I read a letter from a very brave little girl, James continued, who taught me something I should have learned a long time ago. May I speak with you both for a moment? They sat in his office, Maria perched nervously on the edge of a chair, Emma pressed against her mother's side. James pulled out the letter. Emma, you were wrong about one thing, he said gently. Your mother is going to get much more than a raise. Over the next hour, James explained the changes he'd already set in motion. Maria would be hired directly by Morrison Technologies as head of facilities management, with full benefits, triple her current salary, and a signing bonus that would cover Emma's glasses and 6 months of rent. She'd also receive immediate enrollment in the company's tuition assistance program for both her and Emma's future education. But I don't understand, Maria whispered, tears streaming down her face. Why would you do this? James looked at the letter, then at Emma, then back at Maria. Because I'd forgotten what really matters. I'd forgotten to see people. Your daughter reminded me that behind every job, every task, every cleaned office, there's a human being with dreams and struggles and incredible courage. You work 2 jobs to give your daughter a better life. The least I can do is make sure one of those jobs values you the way you deserve. Emma wrapped her arms around her mother as Maria sobbed. 26 months of fear and exhaustion finally breaking free. James turned away to give them privacy, his own eyes wet. The next morning, James called an all-staff meeting. He told Emma's story with Maria's permission and announced a company-wide audit of all contracted workers. Within 3 months, Morrison Technologies became known for its treatment of every employee, from executives to maintenance staff. Maria eventually earned her business degree through the company program and became one of James's most trusted advisors on employee relations. Emma, wearing her new glasses, thrived in school and never forgot the night her letter changed everything. Sometimes the smallest voices carry the most important messages. Sometimes it takes the honest words of a child to remind us what it means to truly see each other. And sometimes kindness isn't just about grand gestures, it's about recognizing the quiet heroes who've been there all along.